Jamar Chase suspended for one game. We talked about this. We talked about it last night, predicting that there probably would be some league discipline handed down for his video evidence of spitting on Jalen Ramsey. I put it up on my Instagram right when it happened during the game. You can clearly see Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Go to my Instagram if you want to see it, The Fantasy Football Show on IG. But he lied about it. They asked him, "Did you spit on Jalen Ramsey?" And he said, I never opened my mouth to that guy. And there's video evidence of it. And it was diabolical, for sure. It was disrespectful. It was trash. No man should spit on another man. And Jamar Chase spat on him. And now he's facing the consequences. He will not only be suspended for this one game, Jamar Chase, in week number 12, but he will also be docked $448,000 along with $58,000 per game active bonus he now will be forfeiting. That is a big sum of money, over $500,000 he will lose on that one action. And the hits keep on coming. Jamar Chase suspended for one game. The Fantasy Football Breaking News Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
The hits just keep on coming. Jamar Chase out for one game, suspended for spitting on Jalen Ramsey, as he should be. You know, I know no one wants me to say that because you've got Jamar Chase and you're like, why would I want this, Smitty? But I mean, unbiasedly, he should be suspended. I mean, that was like we said, diabolical situation. Anybody that has him, we were going over right before this happened. We were ironically going over the Jamar Chase value going forward. The news broke while we were talking about Jamar Chase on the previous live stream. We had to end that one because I compartmentalize all the breaking news shows so that they're easy to find, and you don't say, Smitty, what do you think on the Jamar Chase stuff? I've got a video dedicated to it because that's how this channel rolls. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribing to the channel so you never miss any breaking news. We go live when news breaks. I also additionally go live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Live whenever news breaks, as I mentioned, and we're live most every midnight Eastern. So this is your one-stop shop. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Imagine owning, like in the chat, Harris says he owns JJ and Jamar Chase. Imagine owning both these guys. Chase has been, I don't want to say an utter bust, but he's been a bust on many levels, considering you took him, if you did, one overall. Bijan took a huge hit today with Penix Jr. likely being out for the year. So Bijan takes a hit. This is a bad day for stud players. Bijan takes a hit. Jamar Chase takes a hit. Drake London out for at least we think at least one game, maybe more. So Drake London owners took a hit. A lot of players took a massive hit today in value. Just the hits keep on coming. And so, you know, we'll talk about all these players right now. If you have a question, we'll break it down. But Jamar Chase out, what's it mean? I mean, this team is in shambles, bro. This team is in shambles. And whether they keep a healthy quarterback long enough to get Joe Burrow back, will Joe Burrow even come back? If the record's out of control, why rush Joe Burrow? I don't know that Joe Burrow will be rushed back. I think they could take their sweet time bringing Joe Burrow back, meaning they bring him back next year. They'd only want to bring him back if there was a chance to potentially do some sort of little playoff run damage, which I don't think is really necessarily in the cards. And let me pull up the standings right here, and I'll put up the North, and you guys can take a look at it, and we can examine it and the likelihood. Actually, I'll put up the whole AFC because it's a wild card race that they're going to be banking on, not an actual division win. So let's pull it up real quickly and drop it on screen. What are the chances that Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow even returns? I think most of you are going to say 0. I know he's been on waivers in some formats, and we picked him up, advised you to pick him up in case you need a QB. But Bengals are 3-7. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no There's no wild card spot awaiting this team. There's no white doves and silver ladies or whatever the hell the phrase is awaiting these boys at the end of this. This is an L probably awaiting them this upcoming week. You've got Pittsburgh, Baltimore. There's no chance in hell the Bengals are catching both Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the win. Okay, so no division win. What about a wild card seat? Well, I mean, the Patriots are in pole position. The Buffalo Bills are almost guaranteed to have one of these wild card spots. The Chargers and, the Chiefs are in trouble, but they're in much better shape than the Bengals. There's no way the Bengals, with what they've got going on, and no Joe Burrow for extended period of time, but no Jamar Chase this week, have even a remotely close shot of grabbing that third wild card spot. You got the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Jaguars, the Ravens, or the Steelers, and then you have the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. There's just no chance. There's zero chance. There's negative chance. Now, yes, this brings us to the next player. And this is such a devastating situation going on. Fantasy's unraveling. You've got Penix Jr. unraveling the value of London.
Stock on decline.
You have Penix Jr. going down, unraveling somewhat the value of Bijan.
Stock on decline.
And now you've got this Jamar Chase news unraveling the Chase Brown value potentially, because now they don't have a field stretcher, and Higgins is probably going to be shut down like he probably would be if he was a lone starter somewhere anyway. And now Chase Brown's more than likely
stock on decline,
at least initially. And this is a long-term problem, because if Joe Burrow is not likely to come back because this team has zero shot at making the playoffs at 3-7, this is nearly a -% chance the Bengals can make the playoffs, especially without Jamar Chase this week. How is this man going to remain at the level he's at if Joe Burrow doesn't come back and 40-year-old Flacco is pushing his luck every game that he plays? What happens? This entire situation right
stock
now
on decline,
falling apart. If you don't own anybody on the Falcons or Bengals, you're probably sitting there going, I'm watching this train wreck from the third floor here with the grin on my face, because I got nothing to do with any of this. If you don't have anything to do with what's going on and your team is set up pretty well, then
stock on the rise.
You are on the rise. Now, we all play in a lot of leagues. Smitty news on London. We've already broken down the London stuff. We know that it's week to week, my guy. That's not breaking news. But Bucky, thank you for letting us know. I appreciate you. I never mind when you guys shout out in the chat. That's how we quickly learned about the Jamar Chase stuff. So please keep doing it. But yeah, nothing's really changed. I mean, you got London week to week, but this is known. Like, London is out for week number 12, and London is with a PCL injury, most likely not going to be playing. I would say at least you can expect a PCL injury to probably keep him out, I would say 2 to 3 weeks. But he's out 1 week for sure. But devastating. Chase Brown on the decline.
Stock on decline.
Unfortunately. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm not saying I still don't love Chase Brown, but it sucks. London on the decline.
Stock on decline.
Bijan on the decline. But not as
stock
bad.
On decline.
Like, Bijan's still amazing, but this is not great news. Now, is there a chance that Bijan escapes all this? Yeah, there is. There is. Not as likely as him balling out with Penix Jr. playing well. The offense, there's enough production to go around that he doesn't need extra carries. He needs efficient work. He needs non-stacked boxes. That's what Bijan needs. Last year, Bijan had Kirk Cousins in the lineup in stacked boxes. How did that fare? Fared okay. He was still a top 5-6 running back. I don't think Bijan falls out of the top 5-6 running backs. I don't. But when you look at last year with Kirko in the lineup in stacked boxes, Bijan never ripped off long runs pretty much ever. I think he was the worst starter in the league in long breakaway runs. I think he had the least number of like 15 and even 10 plus, but especially 20 plus yard runs in the National Football League at his stature. There was nobody doing worse at that than Bijan, and Bijan's amazing. We knew it wasn't Bijan's fault, but Bijan walked straight back into a same situation. Brian, I'm describing it right now. I've been describing for 5 minutes why Bijan is
Stock on decline.
on the decline for the remainder of the season. Not that he's a drop player, not that he's trash, but I just described why. Bijan is going to be facing 8-man fronts. It doesn't mean he can't deliver. It doesn't mean he won't be a top 5 running back, but there's really no way that Bijan can be as efficient with no passing attack, not marching down the field, punting more often, a lot of 3-and-outs, no good field position, so far away from the end zone he needs binoculars to see it, and he needs breakaway runs to get there, which he doesn't do with Kirk Cousins under center with stacked boxes. Now, I'm still very, very interested in, well, Brian, I know you just logged in, but you probably want to rewind. Appreciate you, Brian, it's not a big deal. Keep thick skin, Brian. We're in here to do work. I don't know. If it was me, I would still buy low on Bijan, but I'm certainly not as excited. Cousins is trash for Bijan. Cousins is trash for the offense moving the football down the field. Jamar Chase being out is trash for the Bengals offense being able to move the football down the field. At the very least, London is trash for week 12, 13, as long as he's out, right? And when he comes back, he's semi-trash comparatively to what he was going to be. Chase Brown, while I still like him, I'm still starting him, I still love Chase Brown, they're still going to try and run everything through Chase Brown. What happened when Flacco wasn't in the lineup? What happened when Browning was the quarterback, which might end up being another outcome if Flacco can't stay upright? And without Jamar Chase, now Flacco takes how many more hits a game? If everybody had to guess, how many more hits a game does Flacco get, or does Flacco take with Jamar Chase being out? 4? 3? Does he get steamrolled 5, 6 more times in this next upcoming contest? Does that increase the likelihood? Is now Flacco very unlikely to finish the year? And if he doesn't finish the year, what are the odds that Burrow's coming back now with an almost guaranteed L? And the fact that the Bengals are they got no playoff shot anyway. What are the odds that Burrow even comes back? Maybe he still does. Maybe Burrow says, I don't care. 5, we got 10 more hits, 5 more hits, 4 to 5, 1, 5 to 7. The odds of Flacco getting injured just went up. The odds of Chase Brown playing badly just went up. The odds of it went up. Sucks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news today. I'm sorry if I sound like a negative Noah and a pessimistic Peter, but I'm just delivering this awful day of news. The one thing I will say, we'll be more positive hopefully on the 8 p.m. show and be positive going into this Cowboys game, because we got a lot of good players like Lamb and Pickens and Dak and Genty and Bowers going. So we will flip the vibe walking into the Monday night countdown show. But this has been a brutal 2 live streams back to back on this channel. Not just for the channel, for fantasy football, for the NFL. Just a brutal set of pieces of news. The London out 1 to 2 to 3 weeks. Penix Jr. likely out for the year. Josh Jacobs to miss week 12. Jacobs is going to miss week 12. We don't know how long Jacobs will be out, but it's at least week 12. There is thought and thinking that he won't miss more than the 1 week, but that's optimistic in my opinion. And so this is a lot of brutal news today. The Jamar Chase suspension, brutal for Chase Brown. Look at all the impact this has. Jamar Chase opening his damn mouth literally cost him $500,000 plus. One spat cost him $500,000 plus. And it also costs maybe millions of dollars of people that had Chase Brown that were in the fight, had Jamar Chase himself that were in the fight. I mean, his spat, this is the spat heard around the world. $500K and more damage because everybody's fantasy football seasons are on the line. I mean, him spitting was a catastrophic behavior and mechanism that is going to trigger so many bad things to happen. It's not even funny. I mean, this might trigger Joe Burrow not to come. Not that Joe Burrow was likely to come back, but let's say the Bengals won this week, and then the Bengals won the next week, And the odds of the Bengals making the playoffs were like 5%. Joe Burrow still would have come back because it would have been hope. There was hope to do it. You never know how things can play out. But with this right now, almost a nail in the coffin, this spatting of Jamar Chase cost him $500K, cost everybody else a chance at Joe Burrow and continuation of glory by Brown and Chase and Higgins on at least a consistent level. I'm not saying they can't still be good. I'm not saying he's a bench Chase Brown. But what a sequence of events that Jamar Chase triggered was spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Thanks a lot, Jamar Chase. Appreciate you very, 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 very much, young man.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come.
He's a pretty immature guy, to be honest with you. Even when they interviewed him and he lied to our faces, lied to the reporters' faces, lied to everybody watching, lied to everyone. We have video footage of him spitting, and it wasn't just a little, but it was like a massive amount. It was the size of a swig of water. It was a massive amount. I'm surprised it didn't create a melee. But Jamar Chase literally on camera hawked a monster at Jalen, and he literally lied to our faces and said, I didn't open my mouth to that guy. He's just such an immature kid. And he is a kid, but he's an immature kid that is an adult at the same time. And he's getting paid a crazy amount of money, and he's got a responsibility he seems to not want to bear. So Jamar Chase should be ashamed of himself, to be honest with you. Cost a lot of people potentially championships, money, and a lot of other things. So let me get to these super chats right here. Simi Valley dropping a super chat. Appreciate you, Simi. Simi says, Smitty, I'm down 65 points. I got Dak, CD, Pickens, Genty, Aubrey. How are we feeling? Issues starting for Cowboy players rest of season. Trade deadline's at 26. Simi, I'll tell you this, bro. I think the fact that you're not having to deal with Bengal or Falcon players is a big win for me. You know, looking at your squad. So, no, I'm not as opposed to having Cowboy players. Dak, CD, Pickens, Genty, Aubrey. I like it. It's not bad. I mean, I do think Dak will have I think Dak, Pickens, and CD will have a good little finish. I think they're playing from behind a lot. Their defense is still, is on the struggle bus. So you're going to get a lot of third and fourth quarter passing. So I'm fine with this. And in a way, Pickens and CD will protect you and hedge yourself each week, but still could give you, double type of production. I don't think one eliminates the other necessarily, but having both probably is pretty good. You are in a dire straight situation if Dak has a bad game, but even if he has a bad game, they're still throwing from behind. So it could be good for you. And Genty, he's going to be up and down, but I think Bowers will keep this defense honest more often than not. The defenses that he faces going forward, there will be some inconsistency at times in usage, but I do believe since they throw to him, it's not going to be that the opportunities won't necessarily be capable of being there. It just will matter if they throw to Genty in the fourth quarter when they're down, and do they give them 2 carries the entire quarter, or 2 touches the entire quarter sometimes in the fourth. That's possible. But hopefully Genty does enough damage throughout the game that you'll be fine with that. And Bowers should stretch the field. So I really do like Cowboy players right now. I think you're better shape than a lot of other people, especially Bengal and Falcon owners. Here's some positivity. I started Ted McMillan and Henderson this week. Let's go, Smitty. Smitty approved. Absolutely. Congrats on that, bro.
You've just been...
And proud of any of you that started Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson, I'm not going to pretend he was the number one out of the week or anything, but we definitely had a lot of questions about Michael Wilson, and the answer was he's pretty good. He's a good play. He's a really good play this week. That was what we said, to a handful of you. So there were a couple of you that started Michael Wilson and Brissett, and you scored a crazy amount of points. That duo was insane. Don't know what to do. 5 and 6. May, Bijan, Hendy, Dowdle, Vidal, Chase Brown, Ibuka, Jamar Chase, Ladd, Goddard, Theo trying to get into the playoffs. You got hit with Bijan, but I still don't get rid of him, unless you're trying to like trade into, let's say you're trading down to a player that also struggled, but that you like. You're trading down to a Judkins and you're getting a wide receiver like Buka, like Judkins and Buka for Bijan or Judkins and St. Brown. You'd have to go after struggle bus players from week 11 to get this done, but you could do that if you wanted. However, looking at your team, I don't think you necessarily need to do that. I like Bijan, Hendy, Dowdle, May. Fantastic little tripod you got going on there. Chase Brown is also still very solid considering. Would I move Chase Brown and Jamar Chase right now in a trade? Maybe. I don't know if you could get a St. Brown or a Nabuka or a potential even, let's see, Rice. I'd be very interested in Rice for Jamar Chase right now. Chat, would you trade Jamar Chase? Would you trade Jamar Chase for Rice straight up right now? I think I would. Vote in the chat, please. Let's see what your vote is. Jamar Chase, Rice, who would you rather have right now? I mean, the missed game alone is catastrophic right now. So we got a yes. I probably keep Rice. Yeah, so I think everybody Chase for Rice definitely. It looks like it's a consensus. So like Harvest, you try and go that route. To be honest, I would go that route. I like your team. You could throw Chase Brown in there and do a 2-for-2, do a crafty 2-for-2. I would certainly go after Rice. I would even consider going after St. Brown and Buka. But you want to get a little more if you go Buka. Wow, what a crazy sequence of news droppings today. Guys, file on in. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll take a couple phone calls.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I'm only going to take a few phone calls. Call to the bentonprint.com phone line. Also owners of the attic.shop. The attic.shop is all the great, amazing movie hoodies and t-shirts, but bentonprint.com will take care of all your business needs. bentonprint.com. And the attic, they also own the attic. We're giving away one of these amazing Spider, Godzilla, King Kong, and Godzilla, and the Beast. We're going to pick one of these and give away one of these hoodies this week. But if you guys got a question, dial in. I'm only going to take a couple callers. We're not going to load the phone line up or anything like we've done in the past. We're at like 15 callers. We're going to go through just a couple calls. I know some of you are at work right now, so it's not even the best time to call in, but I thought I'd open the phone line briefly. Are we panicking on Lamar Jackson? I would definitely buy Lamar Jackson. I would definitely buy. I said buy Josh Allen all for the last 4 or 5 weeks. That worked out pretty well. I know Lamar Jackson didn't play well, but I'm telling you, I think it's a great buy low. It's a risk. Everything's a risk, man. When you buy a player that's struggling, it's a risk, but I think it's a really good risk, calculated risk. 917, can you hear me? You're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
What's up? Who's this?
Motion detected at
This is Sonny from New York.
What's up, Sonny?
What's going on, Smitty? Awful news today.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I have shares of Drake London. Anyway, I was trying to see what should I do with Jettas, because there's some awful news, too, with him. What do I do with him?
It's tough. You know, Jettas is, we talked about it already on the other live stream, so go watch that one. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to answer your question. Of course I will, but you get a lot more information, too, if you watch the stream right before this one. So go check that out after this show. Jettas is a tough player because he's already proven he can't survive with a bad quarterback as well. You could say, oh, no, but Jettas is QB. Well, right now he's not. Maybe he is next year. Maybe the next year, maybe he figures out how to be better in these situations. But these are such horrible, environments for him. There's no way for him to produce. He can't get enough consistent targets. The offense isn't even, just hyper targeting him or anything. I don't know. I don't know how you can. The only thing you can try and do is go buy another buy low player. You can go buy Rice. You can go buy Buka. No one's going to do that straight up. No one's giving you Rice for JJ. Nobody. Buka, maybe. It's possible you could get Buka for JJ straight up. But if you can't, you just do a crafty 2 for 2. There are players like Kenneth Walker that did pretty well, and people might be looking at that. You can trade Sean Tucker if you pick him up off waivers. I just used Sean Tucker in a trade. And in the Marsman League live last night on the show, I made a trade with Sick Nasty where I traded Waddle and Sean Tucker, and I got who the hell did I get? I already forget what player did I trade for last night in the Marsman League. I have so many leagues, I don't even remember what I did. What was it, guys? What was it? What player was it? I don't even know. I think it was Breece Hall. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which you could argue that Sean Tucker and Waddle is as good as Breece Hall. Breece Hall's in not the best situation himself, but I'm just saying Sean Tucker was able to get that trade done for me. So you could probably move Tucker or move Walker or move somebody or move whatever with JJ to get something done that kind of shouldn't fit and make the puzzle piece fit. But I definitely would trade JJ if you can upgrade him through some sort of 2 for 1. Rice and Ibuka and St. Brown are probably your best hope.
Would you trade Jetta for JMO in a piece?
It depends what the piece is, because JMO is good, but not enough.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Smitty.
All right. Later, bro. Appreciate you.
Later.
Vlad. Breaking news. Jamar Chase suspended 1 game and loses $500K in bonus. What do you think we're here for? What do you think we're here for, Vlad? What's on your screen, Vlad? Full PPR trade Jaylen Warren and Woody Marks for Chase Brown. Chat, vote on this one. I mean, I still like Chase Brown. It's hard for me to say no to Chase Brown. But I don't know what's in store for him going forward. I mean, remember what Chase Brown was with Browning. He was worth nothing. So is Chase being out going to hurt him this week? And then Chase being out going to get Flacco injured? And then Browning's back, and also we're back to where Chase Brown's not worth Woody Marks and Warren. Chat, vote on this one. Vote on this one. Full PPR, trade Jaylen Warren and Woody Marks for Chase Brown. Are people, I'd probably say yes by a hair. Honestly, it was a hell yeah a week ago. But a $20 hauler from King. King says 6-5 at this week. 3 people tied for 6-5. I've got a league where everybody that's in playoff contention is 6-5 tied. Except for the first one's like 7. But it's crazy. 3 people tied. It's the huge tie at 6-5 right now across leagues. 7-4. Another is 8-3. I have May, Gibbs, Marks, London, Adunze, Bowers, Harvey, Benson, Bucky, T-Mac, Nix, Vidal, Quentin Johnston, Hampton. Should I move to improve my team? League is standard. I like your squad. May, Gibbs, and Marks is solid. London, huge blow to your lineup. Adunze, Bowers, fantastic. I think you probably do try and trade. I wonder if you could trade London. There are ambulance chasers out there, bro. There really are. Benson and London, somebody that's on cruise control, and you go and trade London in for, you go down a little bit, but you're getting something that's helping you now. Adams is very like hit and miss to people, whether they like him or love him or want to hold on to him. Would I trade London for JMO and something? I mean, maybe, but Adunze, probably not, because of how inconsistent he could be because of freaking Caleb. Do I try and upgrade? Probably more so if you can't get that deal done, that kind of deal done. Buka, I'd try for Buka, bro. Buka's got at least a big of enough question around him for people that I think you could trade London and Benson for Buka. London and Benson for Rice. London and Nix, and maybe that person needs a quarterback. Hampton. I'd sacrifice Hampton to get London traded out for a safer player. Rice or Buka using Hampton in London. Actually, that's my preference there, bro. That's what I would do. That would be the ideal move. And thank you for that $20 hauler, you straight up monster, you.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Chat, are we in agreement we take Rice or Buka for London and Hampton without a hesitation? Am I right on that? Do that trade. Your team's deep enough that you can get rid of Hampton without it stinging, and it gets you out of that spot. I know London will be back, but London will be back for what? I know you say it's a close race. Everybody's tied anyway, so it doesn't matter if your record's 6 wins. You still got a JJ Chase Brown for Amon Ra. JJ and Chase Brown for Amon Ra. I would take Amon Ra. I just don't know I don't know why. Yeah, chat, can I get a vote on that? Chase Brown, the running back, with JJ. We're not talking about Jamar Chase. Chase Brown and JJ for Amon Ra. Please vote in the chat which side you like better. I would go St. Brown. Sheesh Coin with a $50 hauler.
$50. Give me $50 holler.
I'm getting St. Brown easy. St. Brown. Sun God, JJ Chase Brown. Sun God, St. Brown. St. Brown's winning. Sheesh Coin, 12 team, 0.5. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Fighting at the bottom. QB, Flacco, Lamb, Tez, Watson, Trey Tucker, Bijan, Chase Brown. Jeez. It sucks, bro. I'm like, okay, this guy's escaping everything we're talking about today. I was getting a little hopeful, and then you get hit with the Look, and I'm not saying get rid of Bijan. Bijan's still a monster. We love Bijan Robinson, but he does take a little bit of a hit, right? I mean, he has to. And then you got Chase Brown to boot on that. Judkins, Harvey, I think you're going to get some good production out of the running backs. I wonder if we can trade one of them, though, and get into a different player. So, okay, 2 offers here. Good. Let's work this through. Kyren or Barkley and Hurts for Bijan plus Harvey. So, Kyren or Barkley and Hurts. I would definitely take Hurts and Kyren. For sure. For Bijan and Harvey. I would definitely, because Hurts helps you so much. Even though Hurts is, a big question, it's still a nice quarterback in fantasy to get for the remainder of the season. We'll address Hurts in the offseason when they take away the tush push. But right now, Chase Brown plus Harvey for Barkley. Honestly, Sheesh Coin, and I love Harvey still. I do. I know a lot of you are upset at him. But this is a pretty solid attempt to turn this team into a fun swing. If you were to get Hurts, Kyren, and Barkley essentially for Chase Brown and Bijan and Harvey, it's a pretty solid attempt. Hurts, Barkley, what is it, and Kyren. I mean, it's pretty solid. I'm not saying you can't win with what you have, but these are 2 nice moves that you could probably pull off both of them and look like you got a whole new team essentially, and you're kind of getting out of the dark cloud that's hanging over the Falcons and the Bengals. I think I'm okay with this. You kind of roll into a high risk territory with Jalen Hurts and what he can do to his offensive players, but it's a little bit better of a gamble without the dark cloud over the 2 teams. And I like both moves, Sheesh Coin. Chat, do you agree? Would you take the gamble in his particular situation, or would you hang on to Chase Brown and Harvey? Would you hang on to Bijan? I personally, in this, and Sheesh Coin, tell me if I'm right, you probably have other leagues where you have Harvey. You probably have other leagues where you have Bijan. So if this is a way to diversify your portfolio and take a gamble that even if you miss on it, it's a good gamble to take. It's a fun gamble to take. Barkley, Hurts, and Kyren's a fine gamble to take. I think so. Full PPR trade, Jalen Warren and Woody Marks for Chase Brown. I think we just talked about that one already. I'd take Chase Brown even though I am worried. This one here, JJ and Chase for St. Brown. Guys, vote. Everybody pretty much voted St. Brown. There were a couple votes on the JJ side, but I think everybody wants St. Brown for the most part. It's a safer avenue, bro. Much safer avenue. Everyone said good trade, gamble, risk it for the biscuit. Yeah, they all like it, bro. Sheesh Coin, I would take both trades. Nice job. Nice job of getting out of two very, very bleak situations. I have London, and don't run from Bijan. Everybody listen to me clearly. Nobody should be selling Bijan off for pennies on the dollar. Bijan is still a monster, but he will be limited a little more than he was. That's all we're talking about. But I still love Bijan. Nobody should be trading Bijan cheap. If you're getting a Kyron and a Jalen Hurts, it makes sense. I have London and Chase, but I'm already clinched the playoffs. May, Tet. Okay, so you're in a better spot because you should have these guys full go. It's just, what is their offenses looking like? Are we getting less than we want out of them? Can you make a Jamar Chase for Rice trade right now and be proactive? Can you trade London for Igbuka by giving up something small and end up having Rice and Igbuka instead? That's probably what my focal point would be for you. See if you can do that type of thing, Lewis, if you can even trade anymore. And I do still very, very much like your team, but that's kind of where I would take your squad, Lewis. Let me put it right back up. Tet, May, Tet. Yeah, I would definitely be very, very interested in even though you made the playoffs already, doing that. Nice job, bro. Appreciate you. Zach, appreciate you. I've got Genty, Judkins, Hendy, Benson, and Sharps. Who would be a good target to trade up for the playoffs? Thinking of packaging Hendy and Benson. I don't know. Hendy's on the climb, bro. I don't know that there's any sort of. Don't let the Harvey situation, even though I think that will eventually work out. Got a bye week. He's still the only guy. I think there's a real good chance that Hendy is being lumped into the Harvey concern pool, and I don't think you should be necessarily doing that. If I was maybe trying to trade up, I would say maybe we're looking at a packaging Hendy Benson. I mean, if Hendy and Benson could get you something amazing, I'd take it. I'd trade anybody. But I think I'm more likely to move now. Judkins has a real nice schedule going forward. Hendy, love him. Benson and Genty. Let's see how Genty plays tonight, but I would be intrigued by what that could get me. I don't know what your wide receiver room looks like, but maybe trading Genty and a Benson for a wide receiver that's struggling right now, like Rice or Buka, makes a ton of sense. Rice and Buka are going to probably be my two most recommended trade for players. I think Lamar Jackson, as much as he pissed people off, that makes him even cheaper. I think Lamar Jackson still remains one of my better buy low pieces of advice. And it's, is it a risk? Yeah, but it's a risk we're taking for somebody that needs to take a risk. And so maybe that gets incorporated into a trade. Maybe it's Lamar and a Buka or something for a Genty or Judkins with Benson. But Benson is a nice trade piece, Zach. He's coming back. You got some firepower there. I would explore those. But in general, I would not trade Hendy and assume that Hendy's like Harvey. Just because everybody wants to break up with the player before they break up with them. Why? Hendy just scored 5 touchdowns in 2 games. Hendy has 260 yards in 2 games. Hendy has 4.9 yards per carry in his 2 starts. So I'm not worried about him. Yeah, London is definitely on the decline.
Stock on decline.
Bijan definitely a concern of producing like he was producing. Jamar Chase on the decline.
Stock on decline.
All the Bengal players, with the odds of Flacco being more injury prone than ever at his ripe 40-year-old age, on top of the fact that he's going to be getting hit more in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Flacco didn't finish the game.
Stock on decline.
Not trying to predict injury, but I mean, yeah, Bengals, Falcons, total panic chamber. In fact, yeah, let's put them in there. Non-Harvey owner. Damn it. Damn. Harvey owner in the panic chamber. I think Harvey's going to redeem himself. Let's put this Bengal and Falcon teams Jeez, bro. It's unbelievable. Uh, the amount of stupidity going on with these these coaches. All right, where's my Atlanta Falcons? I don't even have it a Falcons and Bengals. Let me write it out. Falcons and Bengals in the panic chamber, 100%, and we'll close the door on them. It doesn't mean that there isn't a world where you don't trade one of them. I'm not saying that. There isn't a world where you're just getting rid of Bijan. I'm not saying that. There isn't a world where you're just getting rid of freaking Drake London. I'm not saying that. Let's put London right here. Actually, let's put Falcons and Bengals. Panic chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, it sucks. It is what it is. But you are Falcons, Bengals in the panic chamber.
You are in the panic chamber.
We got I'm in trouble. 5 and 6 lost London and Chase Smitty. I'm sorry, Rise Above. I'm sorry. Thank you for the super chat. Man, you couldn't have been hit worse than this news today. And you've been doing so well. You have been rising above, Rise Above. You've been doing an amazing job. Your teams have been blowing up. But I will say this, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Who are your receivers? Who are your receivers going to be moving forward for this week, at least? I'm not going to give up, though, Smitty, attaboy, Rise Above. Who are your receivers for this coming week? Make sure you hit this waiver wire. Michael Wilson's not bad. Obviously, there's some wide receivers here. If we look down, we hit wide receiver Pierce, Michael Wilson, Franklin, Watson. There is some ability to survive. Thank you for the super chat. Don't give up, pal. You got a good attitude about it, at least. Why does Chase Brown look so old in that picture? Because he's been through the ringer, bro. That's why. Ron with a $20 hauler. Ron, appreciate you very much, young man, for dropping it.
Alert. Super.
Ron says 8-team standard PPR, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Lamar, Bijan, Dowdle, Brees, Hendy, Harvey, Vidal, Benson, Puka, Buka, Diggs, BTJ, Warren, Gadsden. Any moves? You're not gonna be able to get rid of Gadsden now. That was a move weeks ago that could have got you something. But look, bro. Dowdle, I like. Brees, Hendy. You got a real good situation here. Maybe because it's 2 running back, and you could go with Dowdle, Henderson, Dowdle, Brees. Maybe you trade Bijan, and you try and go get a receiver that can be as good, like Rice or St. Brown or something, to put right next to Puka and Ibuka as your 3 wide receiver. Oh, it's 2 wide receivers and a flex. Damn it. Yeah, I don't know that I'd trade Bijan in that situation then. You're in a real good spot, and your depth will help you. So I don't know that you need to panic. You got Buka and Ibuka. You got Tyler Warren. You got Dowdle and Henderson right now. Your flex will be Brees Hall but I guess I'd be intrigued by Bijan and Diggs, Bijan and BTJ. Bijan and Brees Hall, even for 1 monster running back or wide receiver, because this can go in your flex anyway. You're kind of getting rid of your depth, Ron, but I mean, damn, if you could somehow wiggle your way into a, let's call it an Achane or a wide receiver that's struggling a little bit, right? Like Lamb, you could do Lamb before the game happens, but Lamb, St. Brown. I mean, Rice and something would be intriguing. Bijan for Rice, I would do, because it's just, I feel like it's going to be a safer flex, but I don't know. Maybe you can get more. Chat, would you rather have Rice or Bijan? Part of me wants to make sure we're not overreacting on Bijan. We have to make sure we're not overreacting on Bijan. He's certainly not in a good spot. It's certainly not better for him. Kirk Cousins destroyed his ability to break off long runs. Bijan was one of the worst in the league in long runs in his reign with Kirk Cousins. So, vote Rice, Bijan. Yeah. So maybe try and get Rice and something, because it looks like the fair market value is commanding you get more anyway. But other than that, bro, I mean, your team's fine. Your team is so deep, bro. Unless you're consolidating Bijan and one player. Maybe you're shooting for JT. Maybe you're shooting for JSN. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's not that crazy to ask for that using Bijan and another player. You know, someone might say no, but who cares? Cook, thank you for the super chat. 12-team full PPR. Should I trade Diggs and Kittle for Jamar Chase and Bucky Irving? Yes. Yes, Reggie. You should, no matter what you hear today.
You've just been.
No matter how mad we are at Jamar Chase, you take that trading your run, Reggie. Reggie, let us know when that's complete so we can give you a standing ovation, because even under the circumstances, that is an absolute amazing trade. Emeka, Buka, Sutton, Juwan Jennings, Travis Hunter. You're not that bad off, bro. I mean, Buka and Sutton still very decent. You pick up one of these guys on the waiver wire that are potentially going to be stepping up for you. Franklin Watson, Wilson, other receivers, or maybe trying to think of another guy that we have listed here. We do have Michael Wilson over there, but I have to take him off. Burton's intriguing, but I don't know. Dortch is okay for sure. Parker Washington is still in the mix, but appreciate you, bro. Emeka Buka, that's solid. You'll be fine. Rise above, you'll still be fine. Your team's built, bro. Your team is built to win. Yeah, no one's saying to panic on Bijan, but he's certainly, there's a concern level. We'll talk about more at 8 p.m. I think we'll maybe lead off with Bijan on the 8 p.m. show. What do you do with Bijan? Do you freak out or do you hold? Don't freak out on Bijan. Don't get rid of the advice of Rice. Get something with Rice. If you trade Bijan for Rice, get something with Rice. If you trade Bijan for Buka, you're getting something with Buka. You're not necessarily need to do a 1-for-1. Would I trade Jamar Chase for Rashee Rice straight up? Yes. Would I trade Bijan for Rashee Rice straight up? No. Would I take Bijan and turn him into Rice and another player? Yes. Would I take Bijan and turn him into let's say Rice, but then I'm able to get an additional running back? Maybe I turn one of my running backs from something decent to Dowdle. Maybe I turn Maybe I turn Bijan and Walker into Rice and Dowdle. You're able to do something creatively like that. I'm going to try and get Christian Watson off waivers. Nice. And, bro, try to trade for Buka. Rise above. We didn't talk about it yet. Try and trade for Buka or Rashee Rice. Or you have Buka, right? You have Buka. Try and trade for Rashee Rice. St. Brown and Rashee Rice using Jamar Chase. And try doing that, bro. That would be pretty good for you. Safe little move. Matt, I appreciate you dropping the super chat. Matta says, non-PPR, my Harvey and Woody for his Judkins. I'd take Judkins. I do love Harvey still. I still have hope for him. I do. I definitely do. Non-PPR, one wide receiver, Diggs, Jettas, Buka, or T. Higgins. Buka. T. Higgins is nice, bro. We got 10 gifted memberships from Carlos, dropping 10 watts.
You've just been.
Carlos, appreciate you. Buka's the answer here. Are we really doubting Buka after one game, bro? He just had 100 and touched the game prior. Can we give some respect to Buka? What's going on with that? And pick one, only one wide receiver, Diggs, Jettas, Buka, T. Higgins.
Protected at the front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
I need to go get. Ziggy off. I need to maybe go get some food. My stomach's growling. We've been at this live stream thing for a little while now. Why would you trade Jamar Chase for Rice? A guy who dropped 40 burger last. Well, I mean, I think I just went through a whole live stream about it there, programmer. So you might want to watch this stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back for the 8 p.m. show. Appreciate Carlos dropping the 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate everybody dropping the super chats as well. We'll open the phone lines here at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Give Bijan for McBride. No, you need more. Bijan still need. You can't freak out on Bijan. You can't freak out on Bijan. Trade London for Dowdle. I would rather have Dowdle. That's a great trade. We'll talk about that. That's a great, very, very solid move. London for Dowdle. Smash. Home run. Home run. Home run.
You've just been Smitty.
In fact, we'll put the best trades that we can concoct up on the board here. Let's so we'll say we'll get rid of this week 9. We don't need this anymore. And we'll put the best potential trades. This little eraser, I gotta get bigger erasers, this little thing. So we're gonna put what is it? It was Dowdle. It was Dowdle. So London. That is probably the best trade. That is probably the best trade we can concoct for London right now. London for Dowdle. That is awesome. That is the move. That's the move to make. Ron dropping one more PPR. Try to go from Bijan to Brees to CMC. Bijan and Brees to CMC. Yeah, that would be a good move, Ron. That would be a real good move. All right, see you all at 8 p.m. Or earlier. Bijan for Taylor. Marco, not going to happen. Trevor, take it. Live whenever news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever news breaks. Live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. Live at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. See you all at 8 p.m. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, Sheesh Coin. Sheesh dropping the 50 wad. Rise Above dropping his usual. Appreciate you, my boy. King for dropping the 20. Thank you. Ron for dropping the 20. Thank you. Thank you, Sheesh. We'll see you all later.